video we're going to set some lighting effects, and before I start that I'm going to set my doors in place. But before we get started with lighting effects in Roll20, you have to have the paid version in some fashion. So the free version will not have the nifty lighting effects that make Roll20 so much fun. So I'm going to use doors that are free assets. If you type in under maps and tiles, type in door, you can scoot past my paid for assets and come down to find a perfectly appropriate door down here. This is a free asset that comes up with the built-in web search. I'm going to drag that door over here. I'm going to take the door, I'm going to set as a drawing. This allows me to really finely manipulate it, and I'm going to size it to a good size so that it goes over the map where I know a door is supposed to be. The doors are going to be fixed onto the map. I've learned that players really don't care if the door stays there as long as they can see what's past the door. So I'm going to go ahead and put this door in place, and we will then fast forward, and once I have all the doors in place I will show you how lighting works. Alright, I've put some of the doors down. I'm still in the token layer, and sometimes the easiest thing to do is just cut and paste. So I'm going to copy that door there, and I'm going to paste it right here, and all three doors are in place. And then they're currently in the token layer, and what I'm going to do is with my select move on, I'm going to drag and capture all of them, and I'm going to move them into the map layer. That way I don't accidentally click on them or move them around. So they're safely in the map layer right now. And now that I'm happy with my map and I've got my doors in place, I'm going to go ahead and move to the dynamic lighting layer. And again, you won't have this functionality unless you have a paid version. And I'm going to snap some lines that show where the lighting will be blocked, in this case by walls. But it does not know that there's a wall there unless you tell it that there's a wall there. So we use dynamic lighting and snapping these lines to inform Roll20 of where our walls are. And I'm going to very carefully come in here and then click, left click, and start points. And every time I do a secondary click, it draws that line. Let's be careful not to accidentally click it in the wrong place, or you'll create a big jagged line across your map and likely need to start over. What sort of saves your work in this sense is when you hit escape, which I'll do right now, that line is now down, and I'll have to start with an initial click a new line section. So it's good maybe to kind of save your work occasionally by hitting escape and starting anew. And you'll see how I kind of snoogied the line up to the edge of the door. And again, players don't really care much if the door is still there. If they can see through it, they will interpret it as the door being gone. And I'll show you after I get these lines down how we do the door effect. And I will go ahead and fast forward to that. Alright, I've put down all my red lines that indicate where my walls are. I'm going to very quickly go in and use yellow lines. This is my own system that I use, but use yellow lines to indicate where a door is. I'm going to overlap that yellow line over where the doors are. If I wanted to put a secret door there, all I really need to do is just remove that door, and now it's essentially a secret door. But I want that to be a regular door, so I'll go ahead and move that door back. Now our lines are in place. Just do a few settings now on the page itself to enable all of this. This is a deep dark place, so we're going to turn on dynamic lighting. Barriers restrict movement. That way the players can't, or the characters can't, go across the lines that you've just laid down. And additionally, we're going to go to dynamic lighting. We're going to turn that on. We're not going to turn on daylight mode since this is a dark place. We're going to say update token when drop, and that will do it for that. In the next video I'll show you how to set your tokens so you can really take advantage of dynamic lighting. So once you have all these down, what do you do with it in play? Well, lines are just like tokens or other assets that you can move around and edit. So the easiest thing to do is when your players are coming across the door and they wish to open the door in the background. Of course, they don't see this. You quickly go to the dynamic lighting layer. When they've declared that they've opened the door, you are in select mode. You're in the dynamic lighting mode. You take that door and just move it aside. And now, as you are doing that, that door is now opened as far as the players are concerned, and they can see what's on the other side.